This is the School Success Podcast, a podcast for school leaders to learn from other school leaders what's working and what's not, and to get inspiration and encouragement, as well as strategies to grow school enrollment, connect with families, retain teachers, recruit teachers, and everything in between. You guys are heroes, and I cannot thank you enough for pouring into this next generation that's coming behind us. My goal is you will take at least one thing away from every episode that you can take back to your school to make it better than it is right now. Please enjoy the School Success Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by the Herzog Foundation.
Time for school.
Hey, School Success Makers. Welcome to another edition of the School Success Podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Slater. I'm joined by a new friend out of the great state of West Virginia, Mrs. Tiffany Smith, who is the principal head of school of Hillside Christian Academy, and they're in specifically Lost Creek, West Virginia. We've had actually a few guests before from West Virginia. I feel like I got to make it up there before, because anytime I talk to somebody from West Virginia, they're like, hey, it's a lot of freedom out here. You get to go, get some land and have some freedom out in West Virginia, and it looks beautiful from what I've seen. So we're going to dive into some a new Christian school that's out there that I've known Tiffany for a little bit now and gotten to know her and her school. So we're going to dive into all things, what they're doing out there in West Virginia. But before we jump into all of that, I'm going to pass it off to her to introduce herself real quick. So Tiffany, welcome to the podcast today.
Hello. Thank you for having me. And yes, West Virginia is beautiful.
We're gonna have a
It
blast.
is a wonderful place to live and beautiful.
Love it. Well, one day I'm about to make it out there. I haven't been out there before. One day I'll have to make it out there. So let's start with this, because I'll use this if I ever do visit in West Virginia. I always ask everybody the same question. If I was to visit you in Lost Creek, West Virginia, I know it's rural. I know you mentioned that. But what would you say, Mitchell, you need to eat this and do this to experience Lost Creek, West Virginia?
Oh, eat a pepperoni roll, because that's what West Virginia is famous for. And probably, fish or hunt. We have a lot of that. We have a lot of good skiing, actually, and hiking. Just being out in nature, I think, is the number one thing in West Virginia, for sure.
Okay. I can get behind that. I love being out in nature. My wife and I were just saying that on Sunday. We went to the beach, and then living in South Florida, it's middle, winter time, and we're at the beach and still enjoying beautiful weather. Is like I feel so much more connected to, nature, as well as like our Creator. Being like at the beach or in the mountains or in the wilderness. Like not when I'm in like a big city. Like it just doesn't feel the same. I don't feel that connection as much. And so I love nature. I love being outside. So again, like I said, it sounds like a beautiful, beautiful state with a ton of stuff to see. And so hunting and a pepperoni roll. I mean, that sounds like a pretty good day to me, if you ask me.
Yes. Do you know what a pepperoni roll is?
I guess I pictured a roll with pepperoni and cheese in it. That's not what it is, and is it?
It is, except it doesn't need refrigerated. It was actually made for a coal miner, so they didn't have to refrigerate and have the bread and the meat and things. So, but they have pepperoni roll contests all over the state to try to find the best pepperoni roll. So,
all right,
and some of them doesn't have cheese. Normally, they do not have cheese.
But it's made with bread, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, I just Googled it. I'm looking at pictures of it online here. So, I mean, I could probably down 10 of these. I mean, they look delicious.
Yes.
And that's awesome. All right, so pretty much like a pepperoni pizza and a roll without sauce. Is that kind of what it is?
Yes, and there's different companies that do different ones. People put ramps in them, which is a wild onion. Hot pepper jack cheese, whatever. Some are stick pepperoni, some are sliced, some are ground. So you have your variations, but they're all delicious and greasy and probably not very good for you.
I love that it's one of those things, kind of like a pizza. It's like, how many different ways can you make a pepperoni roll to have a competition for a pepperoni roll? But you're like, hell no, there's a lot of different ways to make a pepperoni roll.
Yes.
Love it. Well, as we jump in today, before we jump into all that, give me a quick little background on yourself as well as your school. And then, of course, I have some questions for you about your school.
Yes. Right. Okay. So a little bit about me. I was born and raised in West Virginia. I went to West Virginia University and got my degree in child development and family studies. And then I kind of became a mom after, getting my first job. I became a mom to three beautiful girls, and I kind of stayed home with them, raising them. My oldest is now 12. And COVID happened. I think that's kind of the turning pivot point for most people. COVID happened, and I kind of got a glimpse into her education, and I was not happy with it. I knew that there was more out there than what was around our area. So I went out kind of looking, and there wasn't. So I decided, okay, there's not a lot of options for us. So let's start a Christian school. So 3 years ago, well, 4 years ago, actually, I started on this venture of, okay, what does it take to open a Christian school? And started deep diving. I hooked up with my local church, and I said, hey, listen, public education is not the best anymore. And, we need to see education going back to the church, going back to God. Do you want to help me with this? And they said, absolutely. So we kind of started looking at and talking, and we had a gracious donor that actually bought us an old elementary school at an auction. They closed during COVID, and we scooped that up. The donor was very, very gracious for that. So we opened our doors 3 years ago, Hillside Christian Academy. And yes, we are on a hill. And we started with 20 students in preschool through 5th grade. And then we grew the second year preschool through 6th-ish grade. We grew to about 50 some students, 57. This year we are preschool through 8th grade, and we're around 75 students. So what we have decided to do is just grow one grade now each year. So next year we'll open our high school. We'll open with 9th grade and build that high school up each year at a time. So we're really excited about that.
Hey, school success makers, Mitchell here. I just want to take a really quick break from the show to give a big, huge shout out to the 𝒉𝒏𝒄 Foundation. I absolutely love the 𝒉𝒏𝒄 Foundation. I've been friends and partners with them for a couple years now, but we're bringing it to a whole new level. And I'm excited to share that our very own School Success podcast is now featured on the 𝒉𝒏𝒄 Foundation Podcast Network. The 𝒉𝒏𝒄 Foundation is a powerhouse of resources designed to support schools like yours, from free training events through the 𝒉𝒏𝒄 Foundation Institute to their incredible online news publication, The Lion, and of course, our new podcast, Home. They have everything you need to stay informed and inspired. And if you're dreaming of starting your own Christian school or co-op, don't miss their online course, Schoolbox. It's a fantastic resource to help you get started on the right foot. At School Success, we're proud to partner with the 𝒉𝒏𝒄 Foundation to bring you these valuable tools and insights. So visit 𝒉𝒏𝒄foundation.com to explore all they have to offer. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on these amazing opportunities for growth and success. And I love all the people over there, and I know you guys will too. So please go check them out, and you won't be disappointed. Now, back to the show. That's awesome. Well, I love your story of like seeing a need, filling a need, and saying like, hey, we're going to start this, we're going to do this. And then obviously walking into what God kind of like laid out a path for you, and then said, oh, because you were faithful, here we got this donor that I just brought along that's going to buy an old elementary school. Tell me a little bit about that. If there's like, was he just a part of the church and knew you already, or just heard about the vision and was in the community and said, I'll do this? Like, what did that kind of, I know everybody would love to have one of those donors at their school. So what did that look like?
Yeah, it was somebody that attended the church, and some of the higher ups in the church, the pastor and everything, kind of shared what we were wanting to do. And he came alongside it and just kind of bought into our vision and was like, let's do this. So it is an anonymous donor. So I personally do not know who it is, but they seen the need as well as the vision that we have kind of created for that. So we were very blessed with that. And the school, that is a whole different story. It took a lot of work to get it to where it is now, still needing work, but me and my husband, and we had some wonderful volunteers that just came in and just started demolishing and rebuilding this school back up. And it's absolutely beautiful. Everything's original. It was early 1900s is when it was built. So it is very, very old, original hardwood floors. But we have really shaped it up, and it is a beautiful school. Still needs a lot of work, but we're just taking it like 1, 2 classrooms at a time. So we just did complete and got an auditorium that we use for chapel over the summer. So our children are loving that because we were crammed inside a cafeteria. So now we are expanding. So
That's awesome. Why is it? I love that it's anonymous, like where he was like, "Hey, I just want to do this." No, and nobody but the church, maybe the pastor knows. Like, I love that. Is there? Do you know what the amount of the building was then when it was purchased from auction? Is that public knowledge?
I think altogether there was the building and there was a gravel parking lot that was separate that we had to get at the same time, so we had enough parking. It was around 200,000, I think,
Okay.
give or take. So it wasn't terrible, a lot more than what we thought we were going to spend. But it was well worth it because it's 3 stories and we have enough capacity to hold probably around 200 students. So it's a good starter school. I know we'll outgrow it in 10 years or so, but it is definitely fulfilling the needs that we have right now. And our students are really loving the building. And we also have around 3 to 4 acres. So we have a trail that goes through the woods. So they love the nature that is connected to the school as well.
That's so awesome. There's so many stories inside that building, and like over the years, if it was early 1900s, like that's just really cool. That's one of the things I love about, like, I mean, U.S. doesn't really obviously have old buildings because we're a very newer country compared to the rest of the world. But like, even when you hear like early 1900s, you're like, whoa, that's really old. And even then, it has a lot of like character and stories, but it's obviously nothing compared to like Europe when it comes to what they have. But that is still really, really cool. And what an amazing a God thing that you don't have to go rent a building and go, it's all that money is just disappearing, and hopefully we can build something later. Like, this is, man, what a blessing. I did not know that about you guys and your start. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it was, it was they had a coal chute. I mean, this was kind of pre electric and all of these things as well. So it is definitely unique. And I tell the kids because they always are talking about the hardwood floors, and I'm like, listen, every scrape, every piece of paint that has fell on that floor tells a story about this school, and just the floors. So that's the really cool part about it.
That's awesome. Love it. Well, for you followed this, this call to start with all these students, and it's grown year over year. Are there some things that have stood out to you that you have done, the team has done to get you that growth year over year that you've had so far? And love to hear some of those, whether it was just luck, if it was truly just, man, it was just a God thing. They just showed up, or we did something specific that kind of got some of these students and families to know about us. What did that kind of look like for you guys?
So, yes, I do credit most everything to God. However, we have been so relationship focused with our families and very transparent. We want to partner with these parents, and we build that relationship the first time that they walk through those school doors for a tour, for questions, whatever it is. We build that relationship. And I think that has served us so well, even with our teachers. Picking the teachers that I have on staff has just been a blessing because they also, when you get a team that is surrounded by this vision and this mission and this ideal of love, everything stems back on love. That is the number one commandment, is to love your God and then love your neighbors as yourself. And when you take that and you stem off of it, it brings so many people together. And it's such a community school that it has just flourished because of it. They come in, they feel welcome, they feel safe. I always tell the families, if you could think back to that safe place for you, and what was it? Most of the time it's grandma's house. It's always grandma's house or front porch swing or a rocker or something. And I was like, that is what we're trying to create. We are trying to create that feeling to where each and every student that comes through those doors, you are almost at that safe place where you don't have to worry about anything other than learning and getting to know your God. And that has served us very well.
Love it. Is there anything you're doing for this next season, enrollment? As we record this, it's right before Christmas, but this will air, into 2026. Is there anything specific you guys are doing for this next enrollment cycle to try and get some more students, get some more exposure out there for the school?
Yes. So right now, West Virginia has a Hope Scholarship, which is a school choice endowment. And they had a restriction on it where they had to go from public school into private, or they have to be an incoming kindergartner. At the year of 2026, that will go away. So if you've already been homeschooled, if you've already been in a private school, whatever the situation is, that has gone away. You can go into a private school and get this scholarship. And we're going to probably see our biggest growth with that, because right now, the homeschoolers, the population there is like, we can't afford this tuition yet, right? But now we have the scholarship that says, hey, yes, you can afford this tuition, which is great. So that's probably the biggest thing that we are really looking forward to, is opening up the doors to people that never thought that they could afford a private education. And secondly is we are building our high school, what that is going to look like. And we're a classical school. So we're only the third classical school in the state of West Virginia. So we are unique in getting people to understand what that is and what that looks like. So that's our biggest thing right now, is kind of, and getting the parents that have students in middle school right now to say, hey, listen, you can come alongside us and build this high school. And it's going to be a partnership with them, which is beautiful, because not many people can say, hey, I built this with my students. So those are the two things that have us running in the year 2026.
You mentioned the growth of the school, of like, hey, one day we might have to move or do something with, like, if we get more capacity filled. Is that goal to always stay there, just build another building if you guys need to do that? Like, what does that look like for the future?
I don't know. So much work's been in that building. So I would hate to ever leave it, but we know it is very old, and the older we get, the older the school gets. So it might be a whole new campus, or it might be we keep this one for elementary school and we build something different for our middle and high school. I'm not sure yet. Obviously, I'd like to have a bigger space. We're limited by parking. We are on a hill. So that has some troubles in the winter. But so I envision I'd like to have a bigger campus, but I also don't want to leave the story that we've built with this one. So.
Sure. You mentioned, obviously, being, well, of course, in West Virginia, but rural West Virginia. What does that look like when it comes to, I mean, you guys are in a, excuse me, you're in a, an old elementary school. I'm assuming they either moved, to another facility, or maybe they didn't need it anymore. So, like, getting students, like, the family dynamic around the school, I mean, is there enough to pull from? And being in rural, because I don't know how rural we're talking here in a second, but, like, where are they coming from? How far are they coming? And then staffing. I mean, it's like, okay, we got to find, if there's only the third classical school in West Virginia, finding staff that understand what you guys are going, the route you guys are going. Like, what does that kind of look like? I know those are big questions. Students, rural areas, teaching staff. Like, what does that look like for you guys?
Yes, there is, which is really nice, is we get to train our staff. So we come in with them and we say, listen, this is a vision. We kind of sell them on this vision and get them invested. And then we get to train them. So that's the beautiful thing is, yes, we have some, ex-public school teachers, but we also have teachers that are saying, hey, wait a minute. I've either homeschooled in the past, or I've always wanted to go this route. use me, train me to where you need me to be. And that's been a beautiful thing because it does open up a lot more people, and they are there for the mission, not just a paycheck. So that goes a long way. And we're actually kind of centrally located with some surrounding counties, right off the interstate I-79. It's a pretty major interstate. So we're locationed pretty well. So we're actually pulling from three or four different counties right now. So we have students that are they have probably a half an hour commute one way to the school. It's all family drop off and pick up. Right now, hopefully in the future, maybe we'll have some buses that can help with that. But no, like I haven't had any issues. Our parents are like, hey, listen, we'll bring them to you. Like we will bring them to you. We want our students there. So we haven't had an actual issue with location wise. Other than, of course, in the snowy weather, but school gets canceled, so they like that either way. But yeah, but yeah, our location is really pretty good to be able to pull from different counties. West Virginia is a weird thing. We go by counties. We don't go by cities or towns or anything. It's a county thing. So, which is really nice. But yeah.
Hey, I just want to take a really quick break from the podcast to highlight one of our amazing partners and sponsors, ClassReach. If you're a new school administrator or founder and are struggling to keep up with all the hassles of planting a new school, like collecting tuition, communicating with parents, or handling student data, then you need ClassReach. ClassReach is the all-in-one software that helps with everything from admissions and tuition to classroom management and parent communications. Sign up for a free consultation with one of their school specialists and see how ClassReach can help your school grow today. You guys can check them out online, classreach.com. They are a kingdom-minded company, and I love their leadership team there. I've become friends with a lot of them. They truly are a great company. I support them, and I love them, and you guys will love them too. Check them out at classreach.com. Now, back to the show. Okay. Well, what's been one of your things that you've been doing this few years now? If you could go back to yourself 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever it was, and say, man, Tiffany, you need to know this, what would be that thing you would tell yourself from a few years ago?
Rome was not built in a day. Slow down. Slow down. Ask for help, because it's just me and my staff of teachers. So I'm the only one not teaching. My secretary is my mom. She comes in and volunteers her time and helps me, which is great. But yes, slow down, ask for help, and just take it one day at a time, because it does get overwhelming to say like, hey, like I'm in charge of 70 some students, and 16 teachers. So and really just take time for myself and to really pray and listen to what God has for me.
That's good. All right, now we got school leaders here, like all over the country. Like we'll listen to this episode, or listening right now, obviously, as they're hearing these words. What would be something you'd want to tell them? If whether they're starting a school, looking to start a school, they're in as just a regular teacher or facilitator right now. What would you want to just tell them? Just anything. What would you tell these teachers that are listening?
Talk to people. You would be so surprised how many people out there I have talked to that's like, wow, I didn't know that you could do this. I didn't know you could just start a school, or I didn't know you guys were out there. Here's $200. Here's $300. So even my family, my dad, he talks to so many people in the line of work that he is in, and it starts to just grow and have this ripple effect. So that's the number one thing. Don't think that you can do it on your own. Go out and talk to people. Talk to your local churches. Talk to the community, because if you are so passionate, they see it. They see your passion and they want to drive that. So that's the biggest thing is yes, it is a hard process. It is a grueling process sometimes to do it, but there's people out there, if you talk to the right ones, that will just fuel you and help you for sure. But communication is key. Mm-hmm.
I've got two more questions for you before we'll wrap up today. For fundraising, obviously, again, you got the building gifted to you, which is awesome. What are some things, fundraising comes up regularly when we're talking to schools about, what should they do, what's working, what's not. For you guys, have you found anything that's worked well or things that have flopped when it comes to fundraising? Anything to share on that side?
Yes, I mean, so I've went through the Herzog's been amazing. The Herzog Foundation's been amazing. So I've been through their donor development trainings and things like that. So I have a lot of knowledge from them. But it's really the people. It's the connections that you make. Selling things in our area, those typical fundraisers just doesn't work for us because we're a rural area. We're not a high um, we are at a impoverished level. So typical things like that doesn't work for us. It's really sharing the mission and getting people to come and donate to us. We do a golf tournament every year that has been a pretty good success. So we typically are going to do that each year and kind of build it up to where it gets better and better. So we do one big one, and then we just started our own little, we call the gatekeepers. It's kind of like a PTA, and they've really helped drive it, is getting our parents to go like, hey, listen, we know you want to sell things, you think this is work, but go out there and talk to people. Like, we have tasked our parents to just go out and spread the news, and it has caught on. So we're seeing the communication with the style of getting donors to partner with us way better than a typical, hey, I'm going to go sell wrapping paper or something like that. So a lot of the things that we do are community based, of trying to raise money and things like that. So I think that's the number one thing. My board has read Turning Donors to Dollars. And it is that communication key with it. And same way with the Herzog Foundation, they said, listen, just go out and ask. Just go out and find the people and ask them. And that's hard to ask people for money, but if you get the right one, and God's going to put those in your path, He will hook you up with the ones that you need to talk to. You just got to be comfortable talking about your school. And I love to talk, so I don't have an issue with that. So that's been a blessing.
Amen. That's good. Well, last question I got for you is one final piece of encouragement. If you had a final piece of encouragement for the school leaders listening, what would one final piece of encouragement or advice or encouragement be for the school leaders listening?
Get a really good board. The relationship with your board and the people that sit on it help out so much. Have a good relationship with them. And really lean on into each other. And definitely, so that one, and then your teachers. So your board and your teachers are your two most important people in your life. Treat your teachers well. I hope I'm doing that. I hope if I could get a teacher on here, they say, yes, she is doing that well. But I try so hard to pour love into my teachers, because in a workplace, if you don't feel loved and valued and cherished, they're going to go find a different job. So I really work on that, whatever it is. If it's just little things, little gifts, little, encouragement of, hey, you're doing a great job, or I see you. We get fun with it too, as well. But that's probably the number one thing, is to love your people, love your board, communicate with them well, and love your teachers well.
That's good advice. Solid advice. So
Yes.
That's good. Well, you've learned a ton in a very short amount of time, and you're doing some awesome things there in West Virginia. I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your day. I know you guys are in the middle of the school year, and you're obviously, I know you're home with a sick kiddo at the moment. So thank you for still being willing to hop on the podcast today. Hoping she gets better soon. And wishing you guys nothing but the best as you really do continue to grow and educate more students there in West Virginia. So Tiffany, thank you so much for being on today.
Yes, thank you for having me, and hopefully you will come to West Virginia soon. I live on a farm, so I will definitely put you to work and show you around West Virginia. So
sounds good. My kids will love it.
Yes.
Well, another huge shout out and a thank you to our guests for taking time and being on the podcast today. I love the people that I get to interview in this podcast. And as always, I'm hoping you guys are able to take at least one thing away from today's episode that you can take back to your school to make it better than it is right now. Before you guys go, I do want to make sure you are aware of our 3 free resources available here at School Success. And the first one is, of course, the podcast that you're listening to right now. We are dropping weekly episodes every single Monday morning. We want to make sure you guys aren't missing out. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And if you haven't left a 5-star review, we would love a 5-star review as well. The second one is on our website, schoolsuccessmakers.com. In the top right-hand corner is a button, School Success Report. You just click that and sign up for that. We send it directly to your inbox every single week. It's full of different articles our team has either found or written to help you, the school leader, be more successful. And last but not least is our free Facebook community called School Success Makers. It's an awesome place. I'm personally in there. I'd love to see you in there as well. Get some good community around you, ask questions, and just have some fun. So make sure you are joining our free Facebook community. We'd love to see you in there. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. We'll be back here next week with another awesome guest as usual on the School Success Podcast. We'll see you then. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Herzog Foundation.